Hey guys, Toyhouze here. So you want to know, do I align myself with the blue spacemen or the mana addicts? That's a damn good question. But first, what the heck is an Aldor and what the heck is a Scryer? Well, pull up a comfy chair and grab a drink. It's story time. And at the end of story time, I'll tell you exactly which classes and specs should go Aldor or Scryer. So today, we learn about the origin story of the Scryers. After enduring relentless assaults, the exhausted Sha'tar and Aldor guards braced for the next wave as it marched over the horizon. This time, the attack came from the armies of Illidan Stormrage. A large regiment of blood elves has been sent by Illidan's ally, Prince Kael'thas Sunstrider, to lay waste to the city. As the regiment of blood elves crossed the bridge, the Aldor's exarches and vindicators lined up to defend the Terrace of Light. Then the unexpected happened. The blood elves laid down their weapons in front of the city's defenders. Their leader, a blood elf elder known as Vorenthal, stormed into the Terrace of Light and demanded to speak to the Naru, Adal. As the Naru approached him, Vorenthal knelt and uttered the following words. "I have seen you in a vision, Naru. My race's only hope for survival lies with you. My followers and I are here to serve you." The defection of Vorenthal and his followers was the largest loss ever incurred by Kael'thas' forces. Many of the strongest and brightest among Kael'thas' scholars and magisters had been swayed by Vorenthal's influence. The Naru accepted the defectors, who became known as the Scryers. The Scryers are blood elves who reside in Sha'tar city, led by Vorenthal the Seer. The group broke away from Prince Kael'thas and offered to assist the Naru at Sha'tar city. They are at odds with the Aldor and compete with them for power within Sha'tar and the Naru's favor. Most players will start at neutral with the Aldor. Khadgar and Sha'tar city will give players the choice of aligning themselves with the Scryers or Aldor after completing City of Light, the quest. This choice is reversible if you feel the need. Blood Elf players will be friendly with the Scryers and hostile with the Aldor, whereas Draenei players will be hostile to the Scryers and friendly to the Aldor. The Scryers have both a Master Enchanter Trainer and a Grand Master Enchanter Trainer. Due to this, the Enchanter nestled deep within Uldaman is rendered obsolete. Quartermaster Enuril and Inscriber Verendis are located in the Scryers Bank on the southern edge of the Terrace of Light. The Seer's Library in the Scryers tier is home to Arandis Sunblade, keeper of Sha'tari artifacts, and Vena Dawnstar, keeper of Sha'tari heirlooms, who exchange epic armor tokens for Tier 4 and Tier 5 gear, respectively. Take note, though, that reputation gains with Scryers correspond with a 10% greater loss in reputation with the Aldor. Most reputation gains with the Scryer will also grant about 50% of the reputation gained toward your standing with the Sha'tar. Players looking to gain the higher reputation ranks, like Revered or Exalted, may wish to save non-repeatable quests until after reaching Honored. Turning in 10 Firewing Signets to Magistrix Phelan in the Scryers tier will grant 250 reputation with the Scryers. These signets can also be turned in one at a time at the same exchange rate, 25 reputation per signet. These signets drop from low-ranking Firewing members found in the northeast section of Terokar Forest. This repeatable quest becomes unavailable, however, at Honored, so take note of that. If no other reputation quests are done, 240 signets are required to go from friendly to honored. However, once you reach level 68, you may also turn in Sun Fury signets. These drop from high-ranking Sun Fury blood elves found in Netherstorm, Shadowmoon Valley, and of course the Tempest Keep instances. Well, you will find plenty of them. If you wish, you may turn in the higher level signets before honored reputation. However, it is recommended that you save them for after you hit honored. For every 10 signets, you will gain 250 reputation. Once you hit Honored, it will take approximately 1,320 Sun Fury signets to go from Honored to Exalted if no other reputation is earned. Last, Arcane Tome may be turned in at any time to Vorenthal the Seer inside the Seer's Library on the Scryers tier. This will increase your reputation with the Scryers by 350 per Handen. If you wish, you may turn in the Arcane Tomes before Honored reputation. However, it is highly recommended that you save them for after you hit Honored, because once you hit Honored, it will take approximately 94 Arcane Tomes to go from Honored to Exalted if no other reputation is earned. In addition to reputation gains, you'll receive an arcane rune, which is currency for the purchase of shoulder enchants from Inscriber of Rendis, who resides in the Scryer's Bank. Now, if you change your mind and you want to change your faction from Aldor to Scryers to access their crafting recipes and undo all reputation progress you've made, keep that in mind, find Arcanist Adria, a scryer in the lower city. She offers you a repeatable quest, Vorenthal's Visions, which requires you to find 8 Dampscale Basilisk Eyes. Once you are neutral with the Scryers, you can no longer receive this quest. The quest will give you 250 Scryer rep and minus 275 Aldor reputation. In addition, the quest also gives you 125 reputation with the Sha'tar. And when it comes to aligning yourself with Scryer, you should usually only do this if you are a spellcaster or healer. While the Scryer's staff provides huge healing, Aldor gear provides substantial intellect and MP5 gear. The shoulder enchantments are the reverse, Aldor providing substantial healing and Scryers providing more MP5. For casters, the Scryers appear superior in many ways. They provide a very good spell hit trinket, shoulder enchants with stats more in favor of crits, and an epic spell damage ring. In contrast, the Aldor provides a spell damage staff with intellect that lacks stamina, and a low stamina, high intellect chest piece with decent damage. Now, as a rogue, Sokrathar's Girdle is a reward from Turning Point, the final quest of a long Scryer chain, which is not available from the Aldor, with 23 agility, 21 stamina, 20 hit rating, and 48 attack power. It is significantly better than anything outside of Heroic Black Morris or Karazhan for sword and mace rogues. Take this into consideration because the Assassination armor set does not include a belt. However, sword rogues should take notice of the Vindicators brand, which is comparable to Blink Strike, but can only be bought at Exalted with Aldor for 200 gold. This sword is significantly better than any sword outside of raids and arena awards. So, the Scryer Hearth location on their tier is closer to the ground than the Aldor tier is, meaning that characters can run off of it without taking the elevator. Death is assured when jumping from the Aldor tier to the main city ring without protection, such as bubble. The Scryers are also slightly closer to the Flight Master, so impatient players may want to consider the Scryers for this reason. If you are a chef, both inns have fires or braziers that can be used for cooking directly outside the entrances, and as a note, you could theoretically bind at the Scryer Inn, then switch to Aldor. However, the Arcane Guardians on the Scryer tier are hostile to Aldor players, just like the Vindicators on Aldor Rise are hostile to Scryers. Another key factor to consider is your trade skills. If you are training enchanting or tailoring, you should probably choose Scryer, since you can access all enchanting training on the Scryer's tier and also more easily purchase the Bind on Equip patterns. At the end of the day, based on class-specific trend data automatically parsed, the classes that should roll Scryer are Druids, all specializations, Mages, all specializations, Assassination Rogues, Shamans, all specializations, and Warlocks, all specializations. And that is the end of the Scryer section. Next, we will tell the story of the Aldor. The Aldor are an ancient order of Draenei priests who revere the Naaru, and to this day they assist the Naaru, known as the Sha'tar, in their battle against Illidan and the Burning Legion. Though they have suffered much at the hands of the Blood Elves, who later became the Scryers, they have put aside open warfare for the sake of the Sha'tar. The Aldor's most holy temple lies on Aldor Rise, overlooking the city from the west. The Aldor are a faction of Draenei formerly led by the prophet Valen and now led by High Priestess Ishana. They are an ancient order of priests who revere the Naaru and who remain in Outland following the departure of Valen and his followers for Azeroth aboard the Exodar. Like their rivals, the Scryers, they are dedicated to assisting the Naaru, known as the Sha'tar, in rebuilding Shattrath City and defeating the Burning Legion. Characters may join the Aldor or Scryer by completing the quest chain Adal and the City of Light. Upon completion of City of Light, the Allegiance quest, Allegiance to the Aldor, becomes available. Completing this quest grants friendly with the Aldor, hostile with the Scryers, and access to the Aldor reputation quests. Reputation gains with the Aldor correspond, of course, with a 10% greater loss of reputation with the Scryers. All characters start off as neutral with the Aldor, with the exception of Draenei and Blood Elf characters. Like in the Scryer section, Draenei are automatically friendly with the Aldor and unfriendly with the Scryers, whereas Blood Elves are the opposite, automatically unfriendly with the Aldor and friendly with the Scryers. However, this does not mean that either character is restricted or prohibited from the Aldor. They may choose to join the Aldor just like any other race of character by completing the neutral quest Allegiance to the Aldor. It is possible that their name comes from the Anglo-Saxon word Ealdor, which means life, so there's an interesting little tidbit for you. Classes such as melee DPS or tanks will usually want to align themselves with Aldor, but we'll get to that in more detail a little bit later. Turning in 10 Marks of Kil'jaeden to Adian, the Light Warden, Aldor Rise, will yield 250 reputation with the Aldor, and of course there is a repeatable quest for single mark turn-ins which yield 25 reputation with the Aldor. These marks will drop from low-ranking Burning Legion members, mostly Shadow Council-affiliated orcs, found in most regions of Outland, including the 2 camps north of Ochdun in the Bone Wastes of Terokar Forest. In addition, these quests provide Sha'tar reputation, 125 reputation per 10, or 12.5 per single turn-in. Players who have completed the neutral quest Allegiance to the Aldor must turn in 220 marks to reach honored status with the Aldor, with the exception of Blood Elf characters who must turn in 340 marks due to starting out as unfriendly with the Aldor like we just mentioned. And Draenei characters must only turn in 100 marks due to starting out already as friendly. Players who have not completed Allegiance to the Aldor due to defecting from the Scryers must turn in 360 marks to reach honored status. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your race in the Burning Crusade. Players who also desire Kurenai or Maghar reputation may prefer killing orcs at Kilsaur Fortress in southeastern Nagrand, as they yield Marks of Kil'jaeden, as well as 10 reputation with the Kurenai or Maghar per kill. Besides completing the faction-specific, non-repeatable quests, players seeking to attain Revered and Exalted with the Aldor can also turn in Marks of Sargeras upon reaching level 68. I'm sure you're seeing some similarities with the Scryer by now. Each turn-in of 10 marks will give you 250 reputation with the Aldor, and each single mark turn-in will give you 25 rep. These marks drop from high-ranking members of the Burning Legion, aka mobs level 66 or higher. These mobs can be found in Blade's Edge, Netherstorm, Shadowmoon Valley, and of course the Isle of Quel'Danas. In Blade's Edge Mountain, Death's Door boasts the most compact group of mobs that drop Marks of Sargeras, so assuming no additional reputation gained from any other sources earned, it will take approximately 1,200 Marks of Sargeras or 95 Fel armaments to reach Exalted status from Honored status with the Aldor. Now, Fel armaments may be turned in at any time to High Priestess Ishana inside the Shrine of Unending Light on the Aldor Rise. Each turn-in yields 350 reputation with the Aldor. In addition to reputation gains, players will receive Holy Dust, a form of currency used to purchase shoulder enchants in the Aldor Bank. Approximately 17 Fel armaments are required to go from friendly to honored status. Last, the Aldor Hearth location on their tier is connected via a tunnel directly to Nagrand, making it rather convenient at the level 64 to 66 range to get to Nagrand, though there is of course the flight path. Hunters and those interested in Kurenai or Maghar faction reputation could find the ease of access convenient. This exit can also be reached by Scryers, but you must use the main elevator, not the one between Scryer and Aldor Rise, and be careful not to get too close to any vindicators, because they will attack you and kill you. Sword rogues should notice that Vindicator brand, like we talked about earlier, which is comparable to Blink Strike, but can only be bought at Exalted with Aldor for 200 gold. Again, this sword is significantly better than any sword outside of raids and arena awards. At the end of the day, based on all class-specific trend data automatically parsed, the classes that should roll Aldor are Hunters, all specializations, Paladins, all specializations, Priests, all specializations, Rogues that are combat and subtlety, and Warriors, all specializations. In the end, most of the rare and epic rewards from the two factions will eventually get replaced by other better raid loot or PvP rewards. Therefore, eventually, most people will find that the true differences between the two factions are the shoulder inscriptions and the different proc of the Shattered Sun pendants. So that's it for today's video, my friends. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to support World of Warcraft content, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.